There's always too much glare on my glasses. This is the prep video for the Tortilla Espanol class that is on Sunday evening. In order to keep this class in an hour, this is the one thing you need to prepare before class. Obviously, we keep talking about mise en place, getting everything in its place before class starts. Typically, that's all I ask, but for this time, I actually would like you to do just a little bit of actual cooking prep, and that is slicing and par cooking the potatoes. The recipe that I sent calls for Yukon Gold potatoes. Those have a yellow flesh, are a little bit more sweet, and are kind of a traditional potato that gets used. Because of the way that shopping is right now and different supplies, it might be hard to find that kind of potato. And even when you find it, like when I found it, it was these baby Yukons. That's no problem at all. But I just wanted to tell you, if you can't find it, it's totally fine to go ahead and use a russet potato. Now, classically, these potatoes get fried with the onion in advance before the tortilla is built. But in order to, number one, have a lower fat recipe and also just to deal with less oil, we are just going to roast them. So instead, here's what I'd like you to do. Whether you're using a larger potato like this or a tinier one or one that's in between, we're just going to do very thin slices. I'd say about 1/8 of an inch. So we're looking for about this width. Okay, of course, make sure your non-cutting hand is tucked back. See how I'm just moving down with the knife and then using my index finger to separate the cut potato from the knife, because sometimes that starchy bit kind of makes it stick. So whether it's this larger potato, same thing with the small one. We're just going to do these little slices. Sometimes it's harder to cut the smaller ones. They're a little bit more wobbly. Either way, take those potatoes, slice them very thin, toss them with just a little bit of olive oil until they're just coated in olive oil. And on both sides. Now, in this case right now, my baking sheet was also just had a little bit of olive oil on it. You could use parchment if you prefer. That'll prevent them from getting stuck. Roast them for about 20 minutes at either 375 or 400. You don't want them to get very dark. You want them to start to cook. There might still be a little bit of toothiness in the center at that 20 minutes, but it'll be much easier if you have this and the onions done so that when we start as a class, we can assemble it and it'll have time to bake properly. So you want to do this for the potatoes and then also for the onions. The onions, I would suggest to do them on 2 separate trays. If you have 2 trays, do the onion, because the onions might take a little bit less time. You might want to pull the onions out and let them, put them both in at the same time, pull the onions out after 10 to 15 minutes, let the potatoes go the fuller 15 to 20. I am really excited to be with you tomorrow evening. This is one of my favorite Spanish dishes, and I think it translates really well to the home setting, and I'm looking forward to seeing you all. Thank you.